City boy, city boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And you know we gotta go ahead and do a Monday Night Raw review, okay? So, we are coming off of the most successful weekend my channel has ever had. I mean, technically speaking, I only did one review this weekend. Sure, it was 2 nights. But if you add up the views, all right, we're using Stephanie McMahon logic, Stephanie McTitty logic here. If you add up the views from the video from night 1 and the video from night 2 at this point, that puts us at 7.7K views, baby. That's the biggest video I've ever done on the channel. It's the biggest video of all time. This is the biggest weekend of all time. No, seriously, guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys for kicking it with me this weekend. You guys were a big help in getting me through watching SummerSlam. And I just appreciate all of you guys so much for tuning in, all the new subscribers. I passed 1,400 subscribers this weekend, so thank you so much for that. All right. We are still on the road to 2,000, so you know, if you're rocking with your boy, please go ahead, leave a like, a comment, and then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way, because you already know we got to talk about this damn show. In this show, let me tell you, bruh, this show, how do you have a 3-hour show where nothing happens? Obviously, the main event, you know what I mean? You had CM Punk and Roman Reigns, but really, when you think about it, not even that hard. We've been getting this same finish for the last 3 months. Doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Penta, whether it's LA Knight, whether it's CM Punk, whether it's Roman Reigns. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is, all right? Jey Uso, doesn't matter who it is. This is how the show ends on Monday Night Raw, damn near every single night. It's actually getting I'm perturbed, okay? Genuinely perturbed at the fact that I'm watching a show just on repeat, man. And then the shit that's not repeating is shit that I just cannot find it in me to care about. Now, there were some things about tonight's show that I actually was surprised to enjoy, right? When I say some things, it was mainly one thing. That would be the Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella promo. I actually, what can I say? Call me crazy. I actually enjoyed something about that promo. As much as I don't like Becky, all right? I do not like Becky Lynch. Never have, probably never will. I just never really got into her character or, whatever. I don't like calling a woman the man. You got me fucked up, all right? I'll show you who the man is, all right? It's definitely not your damn husband who came out dressed like a fucking goober tonight. Your quote-unquote hot husband who came out dressed... I don't even know how the fuck to describe how Seth Rollins came out dressed, man. I don't know, a homosexual Mountie. I mean, I know Mounties are homosexual anyways, but I don't know how to explain how Seth Rollins came out dressed this evening. But that's the kind of show that we had this evening. Let's go ahead, jump into it. I won't keep you waiting any longer. All right, we all got lives to get to. Let's start at the top of the show and run our way down to the bottom. All right?
Yeah, I'm feeling the rage.
So, we start off the show with a SummerSlam recap. Yay. Okay? We got to see everything that happened over the weekend. Obviously they try to make it seem way more exciting than that shit was. That shit was awful, okay? I'm talking pure garbage, all right? We just got done getting the worst heel turn of all time heel turn, then face turn. Worst heel turn and worst face turn of all time. They both now belong to John Cena, and multiple just terrible bookings and decent matches, I guess, but there were no moments at this WrestleMania, and they had 2 nights to do it. That's the sad part, right? So after this, we of course get our superstar arrivals, but they're not sponsored by Wingstop tonight. So that sucks for WWE. I'm sorry that they're losing out on money there. I didn't know that they could just pimp out segments like that, but whatever, right? So we move on to the opening of the show, and the opening of the show is, of course, Seth Rollins and the boys. Okay? Seth Rollins comes out dressed, like I said, like an absolute fucking goober, man. Like, this shit is just embarrassing, man. This is the world heavyweight champion, dog, and he's dressing like, well, like, when this shit comes on the TV screen, I have to look over to my wife and look at her in the eyes and say, baby, I swear I'm not gay. Like, I swear that this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I swear I'm doing this, I'm watching this show, at least, especially now, just to review it, right? Because I can't enjoy these shows anymore. There's nothing enjoyable about these shows at this point. I just like wrestling, pro wrestling as an entertainment medium. So I like to watch pro wrestling, but this pro wrestling show sucks, dog. It really does. Only reason I really watch it is because, like, I grew up on WWE. I gotta explain all this shit to my wife. Like, come on, baby, don't leave me. As soon as Seth Rollins comes on TV, I gotta tell my girl not to leave me, man. Anyways, Seth Rollins and the boys, they get into the ring. Paul Heyman opens up the promo where he calls himself the GOAT. He says that Seth Rollins coming out there with the championship is evidence that he is the GOAT. All right, he's a GOAT, and he is a humble oracle, is what he says. He says he's humbled to be in the presence of the unpredictable badass Braun Breaker, and he's humbled to be in the presence of Big Bronson Reed, and he's would be announcing the tribal chief Roman Reigns at this point, as he clasps his hands religiously as he used to do for Roman Reigns and looks up to the sky. But Roman Reigns hasn't been champion in a little over a year and a half at this point. Let's be real. I could be, introducing CM Punk as world heavyweight champion, but CM Punk didn't have the championship long enough to even get the damn side plates on the belt. And he sure didn't, Paul Heyman. He sure didn't. Sad to know. Paul Heyman says that Seth Rollins is now the new undisputed, reigning, defending, the whole thing that he used to do for Roman Reigns, the reigning, the defending, undisputed world heavyweight champion of the world, Seth freaking Rollins. And then we get into Seth Rollins' promo where he's just saying to the shame to the audience, shame to everyone who doubted him, shame to everyone who turned their back on him when he won his match, shame to everybody, shame. All right, This is a sad way to open up a show, isn't it? This is like, the way that I'm delivering this promo right now is far more entertaining than the way that this promo was delivered by either one of these sons of bitches, Paul Heyman or Seth Rollins. But then we get LA Knight, coming on out, and obviously I'm excited, but then I'm not. Immediately I'm not. Because Seth Rollins is interrupting a Seth Rollins promo. Not only is Seth Rollins or LA Knight interrupting a Seth Rollins promo, LA Knight is interrupting a Seth Rollins promo after Seth Rollins just won the title 2 nights ago. Seth Rollins has no fucking chance in hell here. Or LA Knight has no fucking chance in hell here. I'm over here. Blah, 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 all over the place. LA Knight has no chance in hell here to win anything, to do anything. The most likely thing that was going to happen this evening was that LA Knight was going to get jobbed out, or the match was going to end in a DQ, but we'll get to that later. All right, LA Knight comes out. He tries to give some sort of he tries to make sense of the reason why Seth Rollins would do what he did, which is, eat a pin and fake an injury for 3 weeks. He basically tried to spin it where he was trying to say that Seth Rollins was afraid of LA Knight, and he was afraid of what LA Knight was going to do to him. All right. And it took him a while. He was at home on vacation. He was thinking about it, and he was going through his head trying to figure it out. Then he looked at SummerSlam and saw what he did at SummerSlam, saw what Seth Rollins did. And he had to be in Brooklyn because he said that he was going to hurt him. And he meant that. He made a promise that he was going to hurt him, that he was going to take everything from him. But now he can take the heavyweight title from him as well as his dignity. So he wants to do that. He wants a match immediately with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins picks up the mic, says, you want a Seth Rollins LA Knight match tonight? You want a match between us tonight here in Brooklyn for the World Heavyweight Championship? The crowd's going bonkers. LA Knight looks at Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins looks at LA Knight, and Seth Rollins picks up the mic and says, no. And begins to walk off, gets out of the ring, starts to walk down the ramp. Here comes Adam Pearce, all right? Adam Pearce comes out and he says, hey, normally I wouldn't do this because I don't like to have a title match without a promotion, is what he said. He didn't say a promotion, he said a promotion. LA Knight had a flub too, where he said, the time is right now, or the time is right, it's right here, right now. LA Knight fucked up in his promo too, but I guess this was just a bad night for everybody, right? So he said, I usually don't do a title match without promotion, but I will make this match, all right, because tonight's not a normal night. It's going to be LA Knight versus Seth Rollins in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship this evening. All right. So that's how that segment came, and that's how that segment went. All right. After that, we got the obligatory Judgment Day segment of the week. All right. The girls, they're kind of sad, so they have to go and regroup before they go out and most likely challenge Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for that championship later tonight. The boys then run into the LWO, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Dragon Lee, right? They run into them backstage, and, they're talking about respect and all this shit. I couldn't care less about this. Basically, Dragon Lee says, if you want to earn my respect, Dom, you got to fucking beat me in a match. Let's get into a match tonight, right? And Dom's like, you're on, because you're a jobber. Like, what do you mean? Like, of course you're on, right? So they start to walk away. The Judgment Day start to walk away. Then AJ Styles comes into the frame. AJ Styles then tells Dom that, hey, I'm just letting you know right here, right now, I'm still gunning for that title. I'm still coming for the title, all right? And time's running out for you. Then Dom retorts. He says, time running out for you because you're getting old, right? So we move on to Sheamus versus Rusev. And then we move on to the New Day versus Grayson Waller backstage. And then we move on to Penta versus Grayson Waller. And then we move on, right? Like, no, I'm joking. Like, but that's seriously how this shit felt, right? Like, who the fuck cares about this whole little middle game right here, right? We had a match between Sheamus and Rusev that went on for like 15 minutes. This is a massive waste of time because Sheamus just basically got counted out, and so did Rusev. They both got counted out because Sheamus was doing the 10 beats of the barrel, the 10 beats of the barroom, the 10 beats of the I don't know what the fuck that shit's called. 10 beats of the whatever, all right? And while he was doing that, they both got counted out, and then they just started brawling. Right? Brawled all the way into the back. Like, nobody really could possibly care about this. Then we get Grayson Waller coming up between the New Day after that match, right? Grayson Waller just says, hey, I understand why you guys left me out there last week. You just wanted me to, take my licks as a man. You wanted me to, prove myself. That's what real leaders do, right? And the New Day, they're not fucking with him. This is basically, like, this storyline is basically the storyline with R-Truth and the Judgment Day from last year, just 100,000 times less exciting. All right, that's basically what's going on here. I think Penta was saying something to Adam Pearce backstage, and fucking the New Day, they were talking about, you know, they're not going to get what they deserve because they deserve a tag team rematch, but they didn't get it, right? For some reason, right? But we'll get into the bullshit here in a bit, right? They didn't get that rematch for some reason or for whatever reason. So Grayson Waller walks up to Adam Pearce while he's talking to Penta. He's like, hey, man, you better give the New Day their title match, this, that, and the other. And Penta feels disrespected, so Adam Pearce sets up a match between him and Penta. And that's the match that we get next. And Adam Pearce also said that the New Day would get a title match when they earned it. They would get their next title match when they earned it. We will come back to this. Trust me. All right? Then we go to the match between Penta and Grayson Waller. And I was about to turn the TV off. The only reason I didn't is because I saw the New Day come out and they ended up getting on commentary. And whenever the New Day is on commentary, the match is always just a little bit better because they're just so much better at the job on commentary than Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Well, maybe not Corey Graves, but definitely Michael Cole. They were way better than Michael Cole and Pat McAfee when Pat McAfee was on the fucking commentary team. So there was that. But either way, with New Day on the commentary team or not, I could not possibly care about this match. Penta ended up picking up the victory because of course he fucking did. And then after the match, the New Day seems like they're starting to Waller's starting to grow on the New Day. You know, there was a lot of new antics that Waller was doing for the New Day during the match, starting up the New Day Rocks chants and all that stuff, right? So he's starting to grow on them a little bit. And they, you know, defend his honor afterwards, and then Penta ends up beating them both down. So there was that. Not to mention, both of these guys, the New Day, they were dressed like gay ballroom dancers. I don't know what the fuck was going on. They were dressed like they had just left the gay nightclub. I get it. They're in this quote unquote morning thing, right? There's morning gimmick that they're doing right now, but it's a little homosexual, isn't it? It's a little gay, is it not? Like, I mean, you got fucking Xavier Woods out here in suspenders, no shirt, right? Like, fucking Kofi Kingston has the wrap on his hair. You know what I'm saying? Like the wrap that women will put on their hair when they're in grieving, right? Wearing the sunglasses, wearing the shades. Like, come on now, right? But that was that, right? Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, they're walking backstage, and then we see that Rusev and Sheamus, they're still brawling. All right, so they're doing the thing that they were doing last year once again. All right, this is going to be happening a lot. This is what I mean why the show is on. This show is just on repeat, right? They're doing the same shit that they did with Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, just 100,000 times less exciting because it's fucking Sheamus and Rusev, right? So we move on to a promo segment between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I could not possibly care about this promo. Basically, they were just saying how it feels good to be champions and how, you know, Charlotte says basically as long as Alexa doesn't punch her in the face again, then maybe they can be whatever. We don't have to put a label on it. These are grown women. You know what? I had so many fucking guys in the comments, grown men in the comments talking about Charlotte's not 40, Lexa's not 40, all right? Like, I don't give a fuck how old they are. 30s, 20s, 40s, I don't give a fuck, all right? They're both in their 30s. Charlotte is 39 years old. Alexa's like 33, 34. Damn near a decade older than your boy, Nate the Great, all right? And the fact that I'm sitting here as a grown man, right? As a grown man, watching two women in their 30s, early to late 30s. Does that make you feel better, motherfuck? Watching these two women in their early to late 30s become besties on a damn pro wrestling show? Does this not sound gay to you like the rest of this show? Is this not homosexual? Did I tune in to watch fucking Mean Girls in this motherfucker? oh, well, we could be friends. Are they friends or not? I mean, they could be. I don't want to be. Roxanne and Raquel coming out talking, I wouldn't want to be Charlotte's friend. Would you want to be Charlotte's friend? What the fuck are we watching? And who the fuck, what kind of grown man can sit here and defend watching this shit? I gotta look over at my wife as I'm watching this shit, watching these grown women talking about potentially being besties. And I have to remind her, like, baby, I'll beat that thing up later tonight. Don't worry about it. I swear. I swear. I am not in the closet. Okay? There's no closet around. I swear, baby. Like, I have to keep explaining this because of all the gay shit that goes on this show. But the Judgment Day, like I said, Roxanne and Raquel, they come out and they want a match. Adam Pearce makes the match official, and that's what we get up next. Nobody cares about this, all right? Alexa Bliss ends up picking up the pin on this match, and yeah, we can just go ahead and move on, because who the fuck cares, right? Of course the Judgment Day weren't going to win their titles back the next night. Then next up, we got Lyra and Bayley backstage. They're just doing a little quick argument about how Lyra doesn't want to talk to Bayley anymore. Bayley's trying to, apologize for jumping in her match, but Lyra's just really upset because now she can't challenge for the IC championship anymore. So, or at least as long as Becky's champion. So, it is what it is. I don't know what this segment was supposed to do for anybody. It definitely bored me to death, though. So we move on. We got Dom versus Dragon Lee up next. All right. And in this match, first of all, it was an all right match, right? But in this match, we had not one, not two. We had 3 El Grande Americano interruptions. All right. 3 different El Grande Americanos interrupting, I should say. This is getting out of hand. It was already, it was already out of hand when Chad Gable was the one doing it, right? When Chad Gable was the one doing the whole El Grande Americano gimmick, especially at first, I absolutely hated it. But I saw how much effort that Chad was putting into it. He was putting a whole lot of effort into getting that gimmick over. So it started to grow on me. Then Chad Gable gets injured or kayfabe injured or whatever the case is right now, right? He's off TV currently. And now they're throwing this gimmick all over the place. So now Ludwig is El Grande Americano. And you got these 2 other El Grande Americano motherfucks. Like, why are we stretching this shit out so much, right? But it is what it is. Dom ends up picking up the victory because of course he does. He has a match in 2 weeks at Triple Mania, I guess, for AAA. That's great. We move on to a Sami Zayn interview that nobody cares about. The only thing that comes out of this interview that anybody possibly could care about, because we get the same questions all the time. How do you feel, right? How do you feel about winning, right? You just won. How do you feel, right? And Sami Zayn basically just says, he wants to be world champion. He's gonna become world champion, and he wants to do it the right way. We see Sheamus and Rusev are still fighting. All right, they fight, and at some point, Sami Zayn, he's trying to break him up. Rusev clocks him, right? So it is what it is. Sami Zayn pissed off. I guess they're going to be in a match next week that nobody's going to care about. All right, and then after this, like I said, we get into the promo. We get into the Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella promo, and I'm gonna keep it very sweet with you. All right, like I said, I actually enjoyed some parts of this promo. I did not believe it was possible. All right, Becky Lynch comes out there, the usual shtick, right? People say I'm the greatest of all time. Sports Illustrated says I'm the greatest of all time. It's not just me. It's Sports Illustrated, right? I won't lie. Becky, I've never liked Becky, but she's starting to, I don't know, man. She's kind of starting to grow on me, and I don't like it. Okay, because I'm used to being a Becky hater. I've been a Becky hater for the last 8 years. I don't know if it's been 8 years, but ever since she became the man, I've been Becky Lynch's biggest hater. All right. And now she's starting to grow on me, and it's really making me upset on the inside. All right. It's really, it's really making me upset on the inside. But no, seriously, like I actually am starting to enjoy this gimmick that she's portraying right now. This character, this heel persona that she's doing right now. But she comes out, she's saying that everybody's calling her box office. Lyra's gone. She doesn't have to worry about her. She's just wondering about what's next. Then we get Nikki Bella. Her music hits, and at first, like I said, I'm already like, oh, it's a Becky Lynch promo, and now we got Nikki Bella coming out here. How the fuck can I possibly care about anything that's about to happen right now? And then they make me care. Right? Then they proceed to make me care, right? Because there were a couple of really good lines in this, right? Nikki Bella comes out and says, when you came into the WWE, I remember when you first came in, you were just a young girl with stars in your eyes, you know what I'm saying? And I when you were coming up, I felt that it was fine for me to step away because I felt like there were women like you who were going to hold the division up. And Becky's like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And she's like, well, it just sucks that you turned out to be such a big disappointment, right? You're supposed to be raising up a generation of women, yet you're handicapping them, right? Were you that, like, I came back to be tested and test myself against the best women in the world because this is the best the division has ever been. But what did you come back for? Because you could have stayed gone. Is it because you were jealous of Lyra Valkyria out here killing it? Or were you, or did you find out that Hollywood wasn't everything that it was cracked up to be, right? Becky hits back and says that Nikki can't talk to her about Hollywood because she is in the biggest movie of the year, the biggest movie of the summer, Happy Gilmore, streaming on Netflix right now, currently. And that she actually had a part in the movie, but it got cut out. Her whole character got cut. And guess what? This is where the shit this is where I was like, okay. And guess what, motherfucker? I have more pull than you think. I'm the one that got you cut. Like, yes, it's so simple, right? This is so simple, but shit, man, it's something, and I have to give that some. Trust me, I don't even expect them to ever follow up on this ever again, right? But at least it was something. It was like it was an element to the story, just a different level. Oh, not only were, you know what I'm saying, they, was Nikki the old guard when Becky was coming in, and now Becky's starting to become the old guard, but Bella, Nikki Bella, she's still kind of that gal, right? And she's coming back. She wants to test herself against all the women, and she wants to test herself against Becky, who was the new guard when she was young, when she was younger, when she was, in her prime, or just getting out of her prime, or whatever the case is, right? So you have that layer to it, and then now you have the layer of the Hollywood, where I'm me, Becky Lynch. I'm the one that's out here stifling your Hollywood career. I'm getting you cut from movie roles. I just thought that was so well done, right? So she says that. Then we go into a line where Nikki says something about Seth. I didn't really hear it because I got distracted. But then Becky ends up hitting back and says that, don't talk about my hot husband. Me and my hot husband are the greatest professional wrestling duo couple of all time, and it could have been you and what's his name, but oh yeah, you can't see him anymore. and I actually popped at that. I actually popped a little bit at that, right? And then after she says that, Nikki's like, she gets kind of hot, right? She's like, all right, well, we never fought one-on-one because you were always scared of me. So how about this? How about me and you, Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch, one-on-one for the Intercontinental Championship? Becky Lynch, she's like, all right, okay. Yeah, you're right. We never went one-on-one. We never went one-on-one because, pow, right in the kisser. I'm not gonna lie, man. I popped for that one. All right. When I looked over at my wife, I was like, all right, man, all right, look. Okay, so, that was that. All right, I actually enjoyed that segment for what it was. All right, and we move on, okay, because Adam Pearce comes out and he ends up making that official, or I think they just made it official. I think Becky Lynch just punched her in the face, punched Nikki Bella in the face, and just walked away while she was talking shit. Yep, that's what happened. So after that, we got a little interview from Naomi. How do you feel? How do you feel, Naomi? You just won, right? And Naomi basically just says, you know, she has her eyes set on Io Sky next week because Io Sky asked for a championship match. Forgot to talk about that. Fucking Io Sky and the rest of the Damage Control were backstage talking in full-blown Japanese. Rhea Ripley comes up talking about, I heard you ask for a match against Naomi 101. And Io's like, well, I'm not the one that got pinned at SummerSlam. And then Rhea's like, you know what? Go ahead, win the title, because there's nothing I would want more than for you to win the title so I could take it off of you, so I could finally beat you. Io's like, you'll never beat me. So that's what Naomi's talking about. She says that she's going to be in that match against Io next week, and then Stephanie Vaquer interrupts and says that it doesn't matter if it's going to be Io, it doesn't matter if it's going to be Naomi. In Paris, La Primera is going to become the champion. We don't care. We move on. So after this, we get the main event of the evening. This was LA Knight versus Seth freaking Rollins. All right. And I don't ever want to hear anybody say that LA Knight isn't good in the ring. You know me, on this channel, we don't really care about the in-ring stuff. If you really care about in-ring stuff, that's fine. I understand. We all come to wrestling for our own separate stuff, right? But I'm more about the characters. I'm more about the story. But I do like, obviously, the wrestling, right? It's a big component of a pro wrestling show, obviously. Don't ever tell me that LA Knight isn't good in the ring. I always hear so many motherfucks in my comment section talking about how I never criticize LA Knight, how I'm always glazing LA Knight. And yes, it's because this is a LA Knight glazing channel. That's what this is. All right. No Diddy, no homo. We glaze LA Knight over here. That's what the fuck we do. All right. You want criticism of LA Knight? I'm sure you can find it on whatever other YouTube channel. All right. It's not happening over here. LA Knight is fucking great in the ring. LA Knight is great on the mic. LA Knight is great in the ring. LA Knight has the look. And for some fucking reason, all LA Knight can do is be jobbed out, look up at the lights, DQ finishes, get his ass whooped. He's always the guy that's just right there, but just never is able to hit the big time. And I really hate that for LA Knight. LA Knight deserves way more than that, all right? But this match was actually really good. I actually really like this match, all right? There were a lot, and I mean a lot, of really good spots. There were there were a lot of really good spots in this match. There were spots where fucking LA Knight is hitting like fucking military press backbreakers and fucking, obviously he does his damn jump to the top rope and the elbow drop, and he just pulling out all kinds of other moves and shit like that. It was a good match to watch, right? But then of course things go off the rails, right? Seth Rollins starts getting the advantage later on in the match, because for the first half of the match, LA Knight was just whooping that ass. LA Knight was laying the smack at the down on the ass of Seth Rollins for the first half of the match. Then Seth Rollins starts to get a little bit more of an advantage. Then towards the end of the match, Seth Rollins rips up a piece of the ring mat, and he's getting ready to stomp LA Knight on the concrete outside of the ring, right? Right as he's getting ready to do that, here comes CM Punk. Ding, 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 it's a DQ. CM Punk attacks Seth Rollins. CM Punk is attacking Seth Rollins in the ring. He attacks Seth Rollins outside of the ring. As he's attacking Seth Rollins outside of the ring, because there was a point where LA Knight was like, hey, what are you doing? He's like grabbing at CM Punk. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? CM Punk he's ignoring the fuck out of LA Knight, making LA Knight look like a complete afterthought. I hate this a lot. But as CM Punk is whooping the ass of Seth Rollins on the outside of the ring, Braun Breaker comes sprinting down the fucking ramp and catches CM Punk with one of the coldest spears I've ever seen in my life. All right, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. the way he sprinted down that ramp and speared CM Punk out of beating the shit out of Seth Rollins was absolute gold. All right, so that happened. All right, Bronson Reed starts beating up on LA Knight. All right, they throw them both back in the ring. I think Braun Breaker hit LA Knight with a spear, and then Seth Rollins hit LA Knight with a stomp, and then from there, Seth Rollins hit CM Punk with a stomp. Sorry, there's so many people in this equation right now. All right, then the credits start to roll. You see Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. They're getting ready to go. Right, they're walking away. They're doing all their poses for the hard cam, and then Roman Reigns' music hits, because you're damn right it does. All right, Roman Reigns, his music hits, and then he comes out. He gets the upper hand for a little bit, but ultimately they whoop his ass, because duh. This is what Roman Reigns does. Roman Reigns comes out, he runs out there to whoop ass, and he gets his ass whooped. It's just what he does these days. So he got speared by Braun Breaker, and then he got like 3 or 4 tsunamis from Bronson Reed. He got stomped by Seth Rollins, and on top of that, he got his shoes taken yet again. So once again, Roman Reigns punked. We got 3 baby faces laying flat on their asses in the ring. I actually don't mind that element of it. It's just, actually really Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and LA Knight versus fucking Seth Rollins and the Brawns. Give me that right now. I'll take that right now. I don't want it to be on a pay-per-view. That's what they would most likely do with that match. But just give it to me on next week's Raw. I would put that shit over so fucking hard, man. I would put that match over so hard. I would put that match over harder than I put over the Becky Lynch promo. Right, I would put that shit over so hard. But that was basically that, man. Roman Reigns once again getting his ass whooped. Same with LA Knight. Same with CM Punk. All right, all of our favorite baby faces just always getting their asses whooped. You gotta love it. All right. But that was tonight's show, man. I thought tonight's show wasn't the worst show in the world, but it definitely wasn't great. This was not a good show to come off of SummerSlam for, right? I mean, literally you had Seth Rollins in that terrible, awful promo that him and Paul Heyman cut in the beginning. And then you had fucking just multiple matches on top of segments, on top of matches that literally nobody cares about. Nobody could possibly give a fuck. We had to wait all the way until the end of the night just so we could see Roman Reigns for like 5.5 seconds before he got his ass whooped. CM Punk for like 5.5 seconds before he gets his ass whooped. LA Knight winning the match, starting to get his ass whooped, and then loses, or loses by DQ because CM Punk attacked Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins won the match. So LA Knight takes another L, and that's how that goes. Right? That's just how that goes. We have a show on repeat, a bunch of shit going on that absolutely nobody cares about. I was surprised by the Becky Lynch promo, but outside of that, the fuck? Give the show a 2 out of 10. So let me know what y'all thought of this show down in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you want to hear some more. And this has been your boy, Nate the Great, back with another video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.